Most manipulation doesn't feel like manipulation while it's happening. It feels like confusion, like guilt, like maybe I'm overreacting. That's not an accident, it's the design. Today, we're breaking down 7 psychological tactics people use to control, confuse, or guilt other people. What each one actually sounds like in real life, and exactly how to shut each one down. Let's start with the most common one: gaslighting. Gaslighting is when someone repeatedly denies your reality until you stop trusting your own memory. It's not just lying, anyone can lie. Gaslighting is lying about the lying. I never said that. You're remembering it wrong. You're so sensitive, said once. It's a disagreement. Said over and over, across months, it rewires how much you trust yourself. You find yourself constantly double-checking your own memory, or apologizing for things you're not actually sure you did wrong. The counter-move: keep your own record, texts, a private note, a quick voice memo to yourself after a conflict. You don't need it to win an argument, you need it so you don't lose your own grip on what actually happened. Love bombing. Love bombing is overwhelming someone with affection, gifts, or attention early on, not because the feelings are necessarily fake, but because the speed is the tactic. It compresses trust building into days instead of months. So by the time red flags show up, you already feel too invested to leave. The relationship feels like it's moving at a pace that would sound insane if you described it to a friend a year from now. The countermove. Let intensity prove itself over time, not in the moment. Real connection survives a slower pace. Manufactured intensity usually can't. 3. Guilt tripping. This is when someone frames their own disappointment as something you caused and are now responsible for fixing. I guess I'll just stay home alone then. After everything I've done for you. The goal isn't communication. It's making you feel like the discomfort is your job to resolve. You find yourself agreeing to things out of guilt rather than actual desire. The countermove. Notice the gap between "I feel hurt," a feeling, and "so you owe me this," a demand. You can validate the first without accepting the second. 4. The silent treatment. Withdrawing communication as punishment not to cool down, but specifically to make the other person anxious enough to chase, apologize, or concede, regardless of who is actually right. The silence always seems to end exactly when you've apologized or given in, not when things have naturally calmed down. The countermove. State plainly that you're open to talking when they are, then go live your life. Don't chase. Chasing is the exact response the tactic is designed to produce. 5. DARVO. DARVO stands for deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. Someone is confronted about something they did, they deny it, attack the person confronting them, and somehow end the conversation as the victim. You're attacking me right now. Wow, I can't believe you'd accuse me of that. The original issue disappears entirely. Every confrontation with this person somehow ends with you apologizing. The countermove. Don't get pulled into defending your character. Calmly return to the original point. I'm not attacking you. I'm telling you what happened. Repeat as needed. 6. Triangulation. Bringing a third person into a two-person conflict to validate one side creates jealousy or apply pressure. Even Sarah thinks you're overreacting. It's rarely about what the third person actually thinks. It's about making you feel outnumbered. Disagreements with this person somehow always involve other people's opinions, rarely just the actual issue between you two. The countermove. Keep the conversation between the two people it's actually about. I'd rather we just talk about this between us. 7. Nedging. A backhanded compliment designed to lower someone's confidence just enough to make them seek approval. You're actually really smart for someone who didn't go to college. It's an insult wearing a compliment's clothes. You leave the interaction feeling slightly worse about yourself, but can't quite explain why. The words were technically nice. The countermove. Trust the feeling over the wording. If a compliment leaves you smaller, name it. That came across as a bit of a dig, and watch how they respond. Gaslighting, love bombing, guilt tripping, the silent treatment, DARVO, triangulation, negging, 7 patterns, one thing in common. They all work by making you doubt yourself instead of the behavior. Once you can name a pattern, it loses most of its power over you. If one of these hit a little too close to home, you're not alone. and you're not imagining it. Subscribe for a new psychology breakdown every week. And tell me in the comments, which of these have you seen used on you or by you without realizing it at the time?